A massive robot stands motionless in an industrial yard. Without warning, it drops backward, legs folding underneath, arms repositioning, the entire chassis reconfiguring in seconds. What was walking upright moments ago is now crawling on 4 limbs across concrete. Cut to a different angle. The machine rises again, towering over a human figure standing nearby. Cut again. A fist crashes through a stack of cinder blocks, debris exploding outward. Another cut. Someone climbs into an open cockpit mounted in the robot's chest. The machine takes a step forward. Then, another. Rock music thunders in the background. This isn't Hollywood special effects or a video game cutscene. This is real footage of a machine you can actually buy right now, and the internet is losing its mind over it. The robot that made Elon Musk stop scrolling. The machine is called the GD01, and it's being built by Unitree, a Chinese robotics company that just became the first in the world to offer a production-ready manned mecha for sale to civilians. Not a prototype locked behind museum glass, not a concept design shown at a tech conference, but an actual product with a price tag and a delivery timeline. When Unitree dropped the reveal video, the response was immediate and global. Elon Musk watched the footage and typed a single word on X, "Cool." That might sound like minimal praise, but coming from someone who's building his own humanoid robots and runs multiple companies pushing the boundaries of technology, it meant something. The video has been viewed millions of times across platforms, shared by engineers, sci-fi fans, military analysts, and people who just wanted to see a giant robot punch through a wall. Unitree confirmed to multiple media outlets, including Wired, that this isn't an elaborate marketing stunt or computer-generated imagery. The GD01 is real, it functions as shown, and you can order one today for 3.9 million yuan, which converts to somewhere between $573,000 and $650,000, depending on exchange rates. For context, that's roughly the price of a luxury home in many American cities, or a small private jet. Except instead of buying real estate or an aircraft, you're buying a robot that stands nearly 9 feet tall and can transform between walking upright and crawling on all 4s. What makes this machine so unusual? The GD01 stands 2.7 meters tall, which works out to approximately 8.9 feet. When you factor in the pilot sitting inside the chest-mounted cockpit, the total weight hits around 500 kilograms or roughly 1,100 pounds. The entire structure is built from high-strength alloy materials specifically engineered for civilian transport applications, which suggests Unitree envisions this being used for moving people in cargo rather than purely military or industrial purposes. The reveal video opens with Wang Xingxing, Unitree's founder and CEO, walking toward the machine in an outdoor industrial setting. He reaches up and literally holds the robot's hand, a surreal image that hammers home the scale difference between human and machine. Wang then climbs into the open cockpit positioned in the torso area, settles into the seat, and the robot begins moving. What happens next is what separates this from every other walking robot demonstration you've seen online. The GD01 walks forward in a fully upright bipedal stance, stable and smooth with no visible wobbling or balance corrections. It approaches a stack of cinder blocks arranged like a wall and punches straight through them, sending chunks of concrete flying. The force required to demolish masonry like that demonstrates serious structural integrity and power output. But the transformation sequence is what really captured attention. The robot bends backward at what looks like an impossible angle, folds its legs completely underneath its body, and reconfigures the entire chassis into a 4-legged quadruped form within seconds. The transition happens smoothly, no jerky movements or awkward pauses, and once it completes the shift, the machine just keeps moving across uneven terrain without any external support or guidance. In the quadruped configuration, the pilot would essentially be lying flat on their back inside the cockpit, staring straight up at the sky while the robot crawls forward. It's a genuinely bizarre visual when you think about the human experience inside that machine. But from an engineering perspective, it's an incredible achievement. The system dynamically adjusts its center of gravity during the mode switch, redistributes weight across 4 contact points instead of 2, and maintains stability throughout the entire process. Later in the demonstration, the GD01 is shown operating autonomously without anyone in the cockpit, smashing through another brick wall entirely on its own. This confirms the machine can function both as a manned transport vehicle and as a remotely controlled or pre-programmed unit, expanding its potential applications significantly. The specs we know and the questions that remain. Unitree has been surprisingly tight-lipped about detailed technical specifications. We know the height, weight, material composition, and price point, but critical details remain undisclosed. What kind of power system does it use? How long can it operate on a single charge or tank of fuel? What's the maximum speed in both bipedal and quadrupedal modes? How much weight can it carry beyond the pilot? What's the control interface like for the person sitting inside? The company did release a safety notice alongside the announcement, urging buyers not to attempt hazardous modifications or extreme tests. The warning explicitly acknowledges that humanoid robotics technology remains in an early experimental stage with real functional limitations for personal users. This suggests Unitree is aware that people might try to weaponize these machines, race them, or push them beyond safe operating parameters, and they're trying to get ahead of potential liability issues. The absence of detailed specs might also be strategic. If the GD01 has genuine military or security applications, Unitree may not want to publicly disclose performance metrics that could be analyzed by competitors or adversaries. Alternatively, they might still be refining the design and don't want to commit to numbers that could change before mass production begins. Why this matters beyond the cool factor. The internet's reaction to the GD01 reveals something deeper than just excitement about a cool robot. A YouTube commenter captured a common sentiment by writing that the United States makes impressive robots in Hollywood movies, while China builds practical ones in real life. An American journalist working in China named Jason Smith posted on social media that China is building everything people dreamed about as kids, and that China is way ahead of the rest of the world in actually making these technologies real. Not everyone was celebrating. A user from Texas raised concerns about competitive pressure, noting that China can produce systems like this for roughly 20% of what it would cost American companies to build equivalent machines. That cost advantage isn't a small detail, but a fundamental economic reality that could determine which country dominates the robotics industry over the next several decades. Chen Jing, who serves as vice president of a technology and strategy research institute, told the Global Times that the GD01 demonstrates China has crossed a critical engineering threshold in embodied artificial intelligence. His analysis emphasized that this machine is no longer confined to a research laboratory. It has a price tag, a commercialization roadmap, and actual customers who can take delivery. That's a fundamentally different category than a prototype demonstrated once at a trade show and never seen again. The cost advantage that changes everything. The price difference between Chinese and American robots isn't just about cheaper labor. Tech analyst Ma Jihao explained that China is the only country in the world with all major industrial categories available domestically. High-performance motors, precision reducers, advanced sensors, battery systems, carbon fiber materials, all the components needed to build complex robots are manufactured in China at scale, allowing companies like Unitree to source everything locally without dealing with international supply chains, tariffs, or shipping delays. Even Tesla has been leveraging China's supply chain. Reports indicate the company has been working with hundreds of Chinese component suppliers for the Optimus humanoid robot for at least 3 years, with some suppliers involved directly in research and development, not just manufacturing. This includes specialized parts like curved glass head prototypes delivered in recent months. What happens next? Unitree is moving toward a public offering. In March, the company filed for an initial public offering on Shanghai's Star Market, planning to raise around 4.2 billion yuan with approximately 85% earmarked for research and development. More than 2 billion yuan is specifically allocated for robotics model development, signaling that the GD01 is just the beginning of what Unitree envisions building. Morgan Stanley recently stated that China's early lead in humanoid robots could drive the next phase of its global manufacturing and export dominance. Similar to how Chinese companies came to dominate solar panels, electric vehicle batteries, and consumer electronics over the past 2 decades. The GD01 might seem like a novelty product today, but it represents a much larger shift in which country will define what robots look like, how they function, and what they cost over the next generation. Whether you think the GD01 is an impressive engineering achievement or an overpriced toy for wealthy tech enthusiasts, one thing is undeniable. The era of giant walking robots has moved from science fiction concept art into manufactured reality. And China is leading that transition while the rest of the world is still debating whether it's even possible.